Hello, so today I will be showing you how to do some basic application using the 3B method, and also I will be doing some hand-drawn art for you guys. So I always start with my client's hand prepped and tipped, and now I'm just doing some shaping on the nails. I believe this set we're going for a tapered square look, so I'm just making the tips a little more tapered since they are C-curve tips. I will have these tips linked down in the description box, but they are the C-curve square tips from the Attitude Shop on Instagram. You can just look up the Attitude Shop on Instagram and they'll pop up. They have a variety of tips to use. I usually get their C-curve tips, which are these. I really like them. They do need a little bit of shaping, but not that much. They also offer non-C-curve tips as well, which some people like. So it really just comes down to preference, really. I'm using my 80 grit file from Amazon. It's the Pana files from Amazon. I'll have the link in the description below also to these. And yeah, when you're shaping nails, to shape like the tips of your nails, I suggest turning the client's hand towards you so the tips of the nails can be extremely straight. I find this method to be very effective when I'm doing the tips of my clients' nails, because you don't want them to be slanted or anything. And looking at your clients' nails at different perspectives, make sure everything is in line. I will be using this 3D white acrylic powder from Mia Secret and this nude powder called Big Drippin' from Tati Chanel. This will be my first time really using Tati Chanel's. I've heard a lot of good things, so be on the lookout for a review. But now I'm just prepping the nails with dehydrator and primer. Both are which from Nail Supply Glamour. Like always, we will be putting down a thin layer of clear acrylic. If you don't know why we do this already, then you can go check out one of my other videos. I have the full explanation of why we do this, but yeah. Okay, now getting into application. Your first bead you're going to want to place right at the tip of your nail, like the natural nail, where the natural nail and the nail tip meet, where you glued it at. That's where you want to put your first bead, and you're going to want to slowly drag that bead downwards to fully cover the nail with acrylic. Make sure you're patting your sides so it don't be bulky, and make sure you are lightly feathering it down so it won't have any lumps or bumps in it, and you can have a very smooth application. Your next bead of acrylic is gonna go right above the bead you just placed down, and you don't want to really drag this full bead down, only like the very tip of it. This is called your apex bead. You're gonna want to make sure most of your product stays within that area so you can build your apex. Next bead is going to be your cuticle bead. You're going to place that right below the cuticle and push it up towards that line. You don't want to flood your cuticle. Make sure the nail is pointed downwards so gravity helps you, and you just fan that bead out around the cuticle and then blend it in with the rest of the nail. If you would like a more in-depth tutorial on cuticle beads, you can go watch this video. That will be at the top. Make sure you are always looking at your nail from different angles. Like if you notice from the side view, I had a little dip in the nail, so I added one extra bead in that little space, fanned it upwards and downwards to blend in the rest of the nail, just to fill in that area. You don't want any indents in your nails because that can cause breakage. Moving on to the next nail, you're going to repeat the same step you just did with the last nail, placing the first bead right where the nail tip and the natural nail meets, blending it downwards. Make sure you keep your brush wet because this will make a smoother application, I should say, because smoother application means less filing time at the end. Next bead will go right above the bead you just placed down, making sure the top of it is nice and flat, and then only pulling the bottom half of that bead downwards to make your apex. Next bead is your cuticle bead. Make sure you place it below the cuticle. Do not place it at the cuticle because you will flood it, and it is very hard to fix a flooded cuticle. That will cause major lifting in the long run, and we don't want that. We want our nails to last as long as possible. Remember to always look at your nail from the side view to make sure it don't have any dips in it. And then you can always add more beads as you go. So I recommend working in smaller beads if you're not that great with acrylic yet, because you can always add more beads, but once you put the acrylic on there, it's on there. And then your filing time afterwards is just going to be extra long when you could have cut that down with your application. And yeah, so we're just gonna repeat those steps of doing the 3 beads and adding as many beads as you need more. This is just like a guideline to go by, not like you have to do it in 3 beads, but once you start practicing with it more, you'll get it more. This was my first time using the Tati Chanel powders, so it was kind of hard for me to get that perfect ratio of how much I needed for each bead. Oh, and if y'all wanted to know, I am using my Alpha brush. It's from Alpha Brush, and it's in the size 10, I believe. I have a size 8, but I think doing longer nails with a size 10 is better because you can pick up bigger beads with it. But if you are a beginner, then I do recommend a size 8. I wouldn't go any smaller than that because that's more like a detail brush for like 3D arts and stuff. But if you're a beginner, I recommend a size 8. It's like the perfect size to pick up smaller beads to work with. So here we're just cleaning up the cuticle a little bit, making it flush with the natural nail just to give it a little bit of more protection against lifting, so to say. So I'm going around the cuticle with this fine drill bit that I got from AliExpress, I believe. This one was either from AliExpress or it was from Nail Supply Glamour. Either one works great. I recommend AliExpress if you are kind of a beginner, because they do have some good supplies, but on the cheaper side, it do take a bit of time to get to you, but it's worth it in my opinion. But yeah, I'm using this just to go around there and to also buff the nails. Since my application was to my liking, I just went over the whole nail with the cuticle with the drill bit, and buffed out any imperfections. Next, I go back in with my 80/80 grit file, and I'm just going to sharpen up those sides and underneath the nail. Make sure that your nail is completely straight underneath it, because acrylic does get stuck down there. And then also make sure your side walls are nice and even. Make sure you go back and forth between the sides of the nails so you don't accidentally make one more tapered than the other. For a more detailed tutorial on how to shape your nails, I will have a video linked above for you to go check that out after this one, and you can get all the information you need from there. Last step to this application and reshaping process is to buff out the nails. You want to make sure the nails have no scratches and anything in it, because once you put your top coat on it, you will be able to see the scratches on the nails. So you want to make sure they're completely smooth and buffed out. And I'm using this small buffer. It's a 100 grit from Amazon. After we are done with all the filing and buffing, I like to go in with this half acetone, half alcohol mixture that I just made myself, and spray down the nails and wipe the nails off to get rid of any dust.